Two Florida insurance companies are trying to increase rates by over 50%. If you have one of these companies, you might be in for a shock. Make sure and watch this video to the end.
Not one, but two private insurance companies have asked to raise homeowners insurance rates on some policies by more than 50%. Key and Amica are both asking to do that in Florida.
So if you have either one of these, Amica Insurance or Key Insurance, which is actually a subsidiary of Allstate, look out.
We are joined right now by Paul Handerhan. He is the executive director and president of FAIR, the Federal Association for Insurance Reform. Paul, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So these two companies wanting to raise rates by 50%. Do you think they're outliers, or is this going to become the norm? Are more and more companies going to say, look, if we operate in Florida, it's going to be costly?
Yeah, I think it's pretty consistent with what you're going to see across the board. And there are several drivers that are increasing rates. From an economic macro perspective, you're seeing inflation is still having an impact. You're seeing the real estate prices in Florida continuing to increase. And they've really increased the inflation and real estate prices like over the past 3 to 4 years. So as people are seeing every single year their insurance rates go up, a lot of that is tied to those macroeconomic factors. Outside of that, people are experiencing a lot more claims having to do with weather events.
State lawmakers said that they're addressing this. There was a big legislative package last year, though some questioned if it would actually lower premiums. And they did admit, well, it's going to take some time to see some results. Is there any indication that it's working?
Yes, there's a lot of data that shows the changes that the legislature made from the claims perspective really is having an impact. So the loss costs, the claim frequency, the litigation rates are all going down. So that trajectory is very good. And you would think, well, since we got a handle on the claims situation, that rates would go down. And that would be true were it not for these macroeconomic factors that we spoke about, like rising inflation, rising cost of real estate properties, and then these increased claims that we're experiencing in Florida for weather events. And these are not just hurricanes. These are severe convective storms that we're experiencing, like tornadoes, hailstorms. These are occurring with increasing frequency, and that's being put into the rate base for consumers. So unfortunately, I'm very empathetic. Nobody wants to have higher rates, but some of these things are really just out of our control.
You mentioned Florida's unique situation when it comes to weather, and it goes beyond hurricanes.
Floods.
Because of all the dangerous weather that we have in our state, is our system sustainable? Because the reality is a lot of private companies said, it's not, we're getting out of Florida.
We're seeing a lot of new risk capital come back into the state. So insurance companies can manage the risk of weather. It's just a matter of what it costs. So I would say that, yes, we can have a sustainable insurance system in Florida. The question winds up being not whether it's sustainable, but the affordability issue and who's going to be able to afford to pay these rates. There are certainly going to be some folks that, are going to have to potentially not live in this state and live in other areas where the cost of insurance is much lower. So, I would almost akin it to, we live in a beautiful state. We have beautiful weather at times, but it's certainly not the least expensive place to live in our country.
That's true. Florida's becoming a lot more expensive than it was, a few years ago. So who is in control of actually granting them the permission to increase their rates by over 50%? It falls under the Florida Office of Insurance Regulation. They're the ones that are going to have to decide whether or not they're going to allow this 50+% increase for all these policyholders. Just imagine if you're currently paying $2,400 a year in insurance, your insurance rate could go over $5,000. That's more than double. That means your house payment's going to go up over $200 a month. A lot of people, that's going to cause issues. So what do you think? Do you think this is a big issue? Do you think it's not? Do you think it's just par for the course? Do you think this is what we're going to be experiencing in Florida the next couple of years? Leave your comments below. As always, thanks. Appreciate it. Have a great day.